little while since you've been on the Red Dot. What you been up to?
Just work. Helping the city, putting the city on my shoulders and back. That's it.
So we briefly talked about this when I approached you about doing this.
Right.
What did you get out of the TEDx Birmingham experience?
For me, it was two things. One is to tease out what I thought could be a solution to addressing some issues within Birmingham City school systems and how we invest in our children. And I believe the other was actually being motivated and inspired by what I would call my cohort, my classmates, who had various ideas of their topic and issue. So it wasn't just the issue, but being able to be a nerd and a sponge and soak in how other areas of how people are addressing things. I thought that was really cool.
So one of the things that we've been discussing at TEDx Birmingham lately is visibility and accessibility.
Right.
And you recently got a letter from a young man named Jer Colby at
did.
United Ability.
I did.
And can you tell me a little bit about Jer Colby and your
Yes.
experience with him?
So Jacoby wrote me a letter quite some time back, and I wasn't able to get to him as fast as I wanted to, but we came to visit him, and I can tell you it's the best tour, one of the best tours I've ever had. First of all, everyone knows him. His energy, his spirit, his kindness, it taught me something, that it doesn't matter a person's life challenges, that if you give good energy, you get a lot back tenfold. And I think for Jacoby, our time together, as excited as he was, I think I was more excited. One, that he's probably one of the most supportive people I ever met, and we have never met before. But I think, too, he has some things he wants to do in life. So there's been some follow-up with me trying to assist him in an idea he has, and I hope to kick it with him again soon.
Oh, that's going to be awesome. I'll be looking forward to seeing that.
Absolutely.
So one thing that I found on your social media is hard-headed Hannah out in Ensley.
Yes.
You met her originally on the campaign trail.
I did. So I met this lady. Her name is Hannah, but apparently she's affectionately known as Hard-Headed Hannah. Almost 2 years ago, and Hannah is in her early 90s, y'all. She came to America after the World War II. She's born and raised in Germany. But she has always lived in Ensley all her life. And she married a war veteran. And he transitioned to heaven quite some time ago, but she remained steadfast in Ensley. And when I knocked on her door 2 years ago, she was still living by herself. And the company she has is apparently the neighborhood cats. But I remember actually knocking on her door. She was sitting on her porch. It's a screen porch. She allowed me to come in. I sat on the porch with her, and we talked about issues, how she remembered Ensley when she moved there many, many years ago, and how Ensley is today and what she would like to see. And what's happened since I've become mayor is that it's easy to get into a bubble, locked into the office, not necessarily sitting behind the desk, but away from the people you connected with when you ran. So what I committed to was staying out in the community. So one of the neighborhoods we decided to go back in was Ensley. And I remember the street. I didn't remember her address, but I wanted to know, was she still alive and was she still there? And to my surprise, she was. Her daughter has since moved in with her, but she remembered who I was. And so we took a picture then, and we took a picture 2 years ago. We took a picture probably about 2-3 weeks ago. But here's what's inspired me about being the mayor. People, I didn't realize this, people have their hopes, and they place their hopes on you as a local elected official, and they want you to deliver on those. And I think for me, being able to be back on her porch, that's given me motivation to make sure that I stay true to what I said and why I ran for mayor, which was to improve the quality of life of the people that live here, including hard-headed Hannah.
Was she surprised to see you again?
She was. She's since had some struggles because she's aging, but she's aging with grace. and her daughter was definitely excited. She's just a great person. It's Hard-Headed Hannah or Jacoby. There are many anecdotal stories I've had where I've been able to connect with people or reconnect with people in the 17 months I've been mayor. So that's been very humbling. That keeps my feet definitely on the ground.
Well, as you can tell, I have been stalking your social media.
It's all good.
So, what do you think the role of social media is in not just getting the word out politically and getting the word out about what the city is doing, but about community engagement? Why social media?
So I think there are traditional ways of engaging people. I think there's city council meetings, there are town hall meetings, there are neighborhood meetings. There's the traditional mail, and of course, you engage people by knocking on their door and or calling their home. But I think what we saw 2 years ago in the campaign was that there's a way to use social media to not only engage people around who you are and why are you running, but if afforded the opportunity to become mayor, how do you use social media platforms to not only communicate your message, but civics 101, educate people about the process, educate people about being exposed to behind the scenes of municipal government, how their tax dollars work, how we allocate those tax dollars, what's the process of paving a street, process of demolition, knocking down a home beyond repair, and so many other things you can think of. And there's a balance, right? So it's not just what we're doing, but taking a social platform and then exposing our calendar, exposing how we govern, and then showing people that you can still use social media as a positive platform. So here's what it is. I think when I was on Facebook, when I first got on, you had to have an EDU email address. So I'm dating myself. And I remember you used Facebook to go backwards. You reconnected with people you already knew. You didn't go on there to find new people. Or it wasn't if you met somebody and 5 minutes later you're a friend request. I don't know that world. And it was positive. And I think what we've seen with social media channels and different platforms is that we've kind of veered towards the opposite of positivity. It's a lot of not negativity all the time, but we fight each other over our opinions, which is kind of silly because your opinion is not right or wrong. It's just your opinion. I'm still trying to figure that out. But we are intentional about using our platforms to engage every stakeholder group. We're very intentional about using our social media platforms to share the good things that are going on in the city. Because if you look at traditional media via TV or AL.com, it will have you believing that the city of Birmingham is on fire and is coming to an end. But that's not true. There are way more positive things happening in the city than there are negative. And we use our social media platforms to be responsible to the residents in the city, letting you all know and exposing you to what's happening and how you can be involved and how you can make a difference.
Well, that's a perfect segue. Thank you. A couple years ago, we had an organ transplant surgeon on stage, and it had inspired someone in our audience to donate a kidney. One thing that I got really excited about on social media is because a friend of mine works for you, Geraldine A.G. And Geraldine was recently a live organ donor. And through this process, you developed a live organ donation leave policy.
Absolutely.
Tell me some more about that.
City of Birmingham, largest city in the state. We have about 211,000 residents, and we have about 4,000 employees. Our greatest asset, my greatest asset as mayor, are our employees. I'm responsible for investing in them. I'm responsible for their morale. I'm responsible for making sure they have the tools and resources they need to provide services to the residents we serve. In that regards, I think a lot of people don't know this, but prior to being mayor, I was actually a city employee for 8 years. And so I've seen behind the scenes of what it actually means to be a city employee. in that regard, in my position as mayor, I think it's very, very important that we find ways, nuggets, to continue to invest in our employees. And so there are leave policies for vacation. There are leave policies for if you're sick, you still get credit or hours, paid hours for that. But we thought it would be cool for our city to have a policy, a leave policy, where you still get paid if you're willing to be a hero and save someone's life. And what Dr. Agee has done, I think, is a trendsetter. What we're trying to do as a city is be a trendsetter. And what I mean by a trendsetter, city employees for any municipality matter as well. And in that regards, I think if our employees want to save a life, the policy around you are allowed to take leave to give of an organ for someone whose life you can literally save. You shouldn't be taxed for that during your healing process. So during that healing process, during that leave period, there's a policy that allows them to still be paid.
That is absolutely wonderful. I was very, very pleased. Well, I have one last question for you, and it comes from a member of our TEDxBirmingham team.
Okay.
When's the next mayoral mixtape coming out on Spotify?
As you all can see, I am rocking a Outkast Aquemini t-shirt. Huge rap fan here. We got to do something this summer, summer 19. Just haven't figured out when, what month yet, and what's going to be on there, but stay tuned.
All right. Well, Randall, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all.